So, the interesting thing is that yesterday, as soon as I was done with the recording, I actually fell asleep, like, really quickly after that. Which it would be unexpected since, well, it took up so much time, right? And I'm thinking about stuff and talking. So that should be relatively stimulating, right? Well, I think that I just really needed to get my thoughts out. And just trying to lay in bed and sleep, don't think about anything. Well, if there's still unprocessed thoughts there, then that's not going to work super well. So, I think that these little videos are actually, in a way, a sleep aid for me, I guess. Not entirely, though. I mean, it is just some nice thoughts as well, but yeah. Anyway, so feeling a bit tired right now as well, so I'm gonna make another one of these. I did feel better today, which is really nice. I'm very excited. I think I'm finally getting a bit more sleep, and maybe after being sleep deprived my entire life, maybe I'll recover in the next little bit. The other channel I mentioned, where I made more polished videos, I'm just waiting till I can fully recover my sleep before continuing that, because if I want my thoughts to be at like a high enough level to match my expectations for that, then I really need the sleep. Here I have no expectations. This is just me yapping just for myself. So yeah. Yeah. Okay, so I'll start with thoughts. I was thinking about the idea of not bringing my phone with me to bed at all. Then I'm kind of just, I can always get up, but, of course, when you're in bed, you don't want to get up, because it's nice and comfy, and if you get up, it'll be cold, and all that kind of stuff. Like, once you're laying down, it's sort of like inertia, but, obviously not quite, but it does feel there's an kind of, inherent resistance to change, which is, getting up would be change. So, yeah. Maybe that's also the reason, the inherent resistance to change. Maybe that's the reason why it's so hard to get to bed sometimes, even when you want to. Anyway. So, yeah, but the problem is then that I am completely unreachable by, for example, people important in my life. And I suppose that my own health and stuff should come first, right? Well, I suppose that could be argued, but also, if by sacrificing a little bit of sleep, I build a strong social bond with someone, then that's also going to improve my health. So, perhaps it's even worth it. And if I happen to be in light sleep, then maybe that's a good moment to make a pause. So, my strategy yesterday, for example, was just to keep my phone right by bed. And if a notification comes, I might hear it, I might not. And if I do, then that means I'm probably not in too bad of a spot to respond. Obviously, it would be way more optimal to just not have to do it through a phone at all, and just have a person who can look at me and, wake me if they really need to, or not if they can avoid it. But that's not always possible, so yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking I'll just have to leave it here. Yeah. What else is bothering me? I still don't feel completely ready to sleep. Also wondering how much detail I can go into on, these videos before it becomes like, you know, what even would be the drawback of disclosing too much information? Well, I suppose it could make it possible to, I don't even know what it would enable, to be honest. I've just always been taught that sharing too much about yourself online is a bad idea. Yeah, we all put up so much walls around us nowadays, like, so many walls would be the grammatically correct term. Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know why. Should I correct myself? It would probably have been fine if I just left that. See how we're ingrained in school to, like, obey all these grammar rules, but, like, if I say much walls, then is it really worth it to break the flow to correct something that, like, gets the point across equally well? Like, bruh, come on, these grammar rules are just unnecessary. Like, I get it that, like, standardization or whatever, and if everyone was writing in their own way, then it would be harder to understand, but in verbal speech, I don't feel like it matters nearly as much. Or maybe it does. Maybe I should make the note internally and just shouldn't say it, but I definitely should strive to say things more correctly, because, as I said, it will make it easier to interpret. I don't really know. Anyway, what was I saying? Alright, people put up so many walls around themselves and don't tell anything. They're obsessed with this whole privacy thing, but, like, I don't know. It's a very complex thing, and I don't think I've solved it yet, and I don't think I have a very good opinion to share about it that would be worth listening to. Like, I've thought about, like, for example, let's say the government can see every little thing you do. Well, that's not good, right? Because then they can start forcing you to do things a certain way, because if you don't, then you can get punished because they find out about it. So I suppose freedom, which is, you know, nice, inherently comes with stuff like this, maybe. The possibility of, you know, wait, what am I saying? See, this is the reason that me right now should not be making polished videos, because I have completely gotten lost in what I'm saying. I'm going to start pausing more. I'm going to stop thinking about any potential viewership of this video, and I'm just going to do whatever I feel like and talk whenever I get thoughts, and not talk whenever I do not get thoughts. I'm worried about literal interpretation of stuff. Like, if it says Arduino Uno, and, which Arduino Uno, you know, like a computer, well, not quite, not like a desktop computer, like a, sort of like a, more of a controller board, I don't know what it's called, like a small computer with, like, input-output pins and, like, a processor and Wi-Fi and stuff, but no really peripherals at all, no, like, keyboard, mouse, monitor, anything, none of that. You know, like a small computer, 2 gigahertz processor, so not very powerful, but also, we do, well, 2 gigahertz is in the Arduino Uno Q, and for example, the R3, the processor is only like 32 megahertz or something, really, really slow. So, yeah. Anyway, so, starting this project at school, which calls for an Arduino Uno to be used on it, and it's implied that the Arduino Uno should be on R3, which I have because they give it to us at school for another project, but it never specifies, and an Arduino Uno Q would be way more powerful and convenient, and thus I have decided to purchase one and use that. Like, technically I'm correct, right? But at the same time, like, why? Like, I kind of just, you know, why do I insist so much on not taking the beaten path? Like, come on. I mean, I suppose, like, making a YouTube video of these thoughts is pretty not on path thing to do either. Yeah, that's interesting. And I just had a thought that if no one were to watch this video, as I have just proposed, that I assume, with the pauses, that I assume that no one will watch this. If no one watches this, then what even is the point of me recording this? Like, I might as well just say it aloud, right, without recording it. Just say it into my blanket and call it a day. So, by recording it, I am inherently counting on the fact that someone at some point is going to watch it. Very interesting. I don't know if that's going to happen, but if it does, like, why are you watching this? Yeah, I don't know. Interesting. I definitely shouldn't concern myself too much with the viewer or absence thereof, though, because then that's going to impede my actual thoughts that the potential viewer worthy here would be here for. I don't know if I have much more to say. Maybe I can just sleep now. My brain feels empty. Arch. I am so freaking, like, so, like, stressed about my Wi-Fi card. So I used the Framework Laptop 16, right? And it came with a MediaTek card for Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. And I had, I don't even remember, because I used Gemini to collect diagnostics, so I didn't actually understand things fully myself. So I can only guess with decent confidence that the Wi-Fi card was problematic and causing freezes or hangs or whatever you want to call them, where the computer's completely unresponsive and then it crashes. Well, it not really crashes, it's just completely unresponsive until I, like, close it, like, force turn it off, and then I lose all my open apps and stuff, you know, like, so, yeah, so that wasn't great, and then I made a decision that I still regret, which is to buy a new card for it, and I have tried, like, literally, like, 3 cards or something, and they have all worked horribly. The first one, it would still crash. Like, it was completely different manufacturer, everything. It was like a Qualcomm, WCN, damn, I don't remember, like 8765 or something like that. Anyway, yeah, it was from, like, Newegg, so decently trustworthy source. And then I got the, wasn't like a super name brand, it was sort of just a generic one, but, you know, decently trustworthy, right? Well, anyway, I tried to daily drive that card, and it did not work out well, because the crashes kept coming, and the worst part is that they're unpredictable, and I cannot find a way to reproduce them. There's also this app I wrote that uses a lot of network, and I'm wondering if it could be the cause of this, or maybe just a trigger that makes the existing problem worse. And I just have no idea what's going on at this point, because I've tried the same card from a different manufacturer, and I've tried now a new card from the MediaTek again, but it's a different model. This one doesn't even have proper driver support, so I constantly get, like, literally, like, 1 megabit per second speeds, when even with the original card I was getting, like, 40 megabytes per second, and then with the second card, that's, like, an upgrade technically, but it still had the issues where it would die occasionally, but when it was working, I was getting, like, 100 megabytes per second, and now I'm getting, like, 1. This is so slow. So it eats up a lot of my time waiting for stuff to load, and it also is leaving me in a constant state of not knowing whether my next second with my computer will be it working or it randomly freezing it not working. And I would just spend, like, all day trying to figure this out, but I don't have time because I need to do all my homework and stuff, and I should be like making these YouTube videos, but I can't until I sleep, so I gotta do that, and then I also gotta maintain, like family, friends, connections. This is all very hard to balance, and the Wi-Fi card is just such a horrible thing to get in the way. I've also tried switching operating systems. I started on Fedora, then I switched to NixOS, I think, and then now I'm on Arch Linux. So I've switched twice, restarting everything, completely porting over all my installation apps, configurations, like that kind of stuff. And like, despite all of that, my network card still seems to be causing system hangs. And at this point, I don't even know if it's the network card. It might just be something else. But I don't know what, and I have not put in the time to investigate the few crashes that I've had, because I have just completely given up, and I'm just trying to get on with my life and my other work, but it's not working because the card just keeps getting in the way with its slowness and stuff. So now I have sort of just told myself I'm waiting for the driver to be developed to the point that it properly is stable and supports MLO, which just seems to be the main thing crashing it right now. But also I am on IWD and System D Network D, which is a more performance of supposedly networks management stack, but Network Manager, the name of the default, the tried and true program for this, would probably be a better idea, but I'm not using it. I always make things harder for myself by going off the beaten path, and this is just one example of how it makes my life so much more harder, difficult, stressful, full of nervousness and dissipation of the unknown. And I used to have such stress problems, and I used to think that I used to have them, but now I see that I still do, because of just the way that I approach life. I suppose that without this, I would be just on the very traditional path, and I wouldn't know as much as I do, and wouldn't be as interesting of a person with as interesting experiences that I can share on these videos. So I suppose that all the time that I thought I wasted is really just experience that I can draw upon when I'm making these videos. Well, that makes me feel much better. See, and I love optimism. See, how it can help. I'm literally I'm literally crying tears of joy right now. What is this? Because all the things that I thought I was wasting my time, I've just proven to myself that they're not a complete waste. So that's nice. That is very nice. And it also circles back to my theory of nothing is a true waste. It'll just develop different areas of your life. So pick what you want to develop and spend time on that, and spend less time on other things. And if you spend more time on other things, that's what people typically call waste, but it's not really waste because you're developing those things instead of the things that you want, which is not the same as just losing time outright and not getting anything from it, which means that everyone is actually technically equally skilled, just at different things, which is an interesting theory, which I was heavily prompted to develop by the series Young Sheldon, where there's 3 siblings with completely different abilities, each unique and seemingly equally important, which is just a simplified version of life, where you don't specialize in one thing, you're good at many things and bad at many things, and it just suggests the idea of balance between all of them. And I think it's interesting to think about that, because yeah, we all get the same amount of time in life. Time is the same for everyone. Well, I mean, unless you're moving in a really fast spaceship or whatever, but you get the point. The really fast spaceship would be relativity, and time slows down with Einstein and stuff. Or I mean really high altitude or whatever, because gravity affects it too or something. I think, I don't know. I'm not a really physicist. Physics was so easy last year, but I didn't really learn anything properly, and we didn't do anything there really of significant value. Anyway, now that I've gotten that out, now I feel like I could probably sleep. But at the same time, I'm worried because every single second I could be messaged. And what the hell? I don't even know how to deal with that, because I could just be like, don't message me today, and then turn off my phone. But that's not super nice, and there may be a point at which I would be open to being messaged, like when I wake up. So, like, the obvious solution is just to go to sleep, and if I get messaged, then I will deal with it. This is kind of my idea for how I want to live life right now, like the philosophy that I want to take, which is just to make the decision right now, given the circumstances, and then if things change, that is when you will deal with it, not try to account for every single possibility right now and exactly how you will respond to them, because that's just so much wasted brain space and capacity and performance or whatever. Oh my god, not performance. Brain. Oh my god, what's the word I'm looking for? Anyway, like brain doing stuff. You get the idea. Like wasted brain throughput, I suppose you could say. So anyway, yeah. So at the same time, like the idea, for example, in a browser, if you're like prefetching pages, because you have nothing better to do with the CPU, right? Well, I think brains aren't like CPUs. CPUs, they'll just keep burning through their clock cycles and whatnot, but suppose if you do, like, for example, overclock them, then that's going to, like, reduce their life or whatever. And if you underclock them, that might help them be a bit more stable or whatever. So I suppose that is kind of similar to brains in that way, right? I do not have nearly the computer architecture or the, like, medical knowledge to fully make this comparison, but the idea is that if things are not strictly necessary for your life, then don't do them, and save your brain space to rest and prepare, and be more mindful about the actually important things in life, the ones that you actually want to make progress in. For example, this YouTube channel or the other YouTube channel or just any YouTube in general is something I want to make progress in. So I will make these videos as thoughtfully as I can. And then, for example, like consuming YouTube, which I used to do a lot of, like watching videos, that type of thing, is not something that I really need to make progress in, because a lot of other people are really, really stupid. And, like, what's the point of me listening to them? They're just gonna, like, if anything, I would just learn their stupidity. And, yeah, that's really kind of, like, offensive and whatnot, but, like, not stupid might not be the right word, but as I've mentioned in other videos, and you can go look for those if you want, but you're probably not going to find them with my horrible video naming system as it is right now. Anyway, I should stop talking about semantics. I should just say my stuff. So anyway, what was I going to say? Alright, a lot of people are not at all genuine at what they want to say. They pick a point first, and then they try to explain it, which is one thing that my English teacher explained this year, which is that your claim should come based on your evidence, not the other way around. You do not pick a claim and then try to find evidence that supports it. You find related evidence, and then you sum it up with a claim. And so that's why he suggested writing the introduction, for example, to an essay last, after you've wrote the main body paragraphs, because you should be developing your ideas logically based on what you have, and not, like, trying to make what you have presented in a certain light that makes it appear to support what you said at the beginning. And I'm going to go one step further on this. You can start with an idea if you want, but Wait, sorry, my phone literally, like, crashed, or, like, hung, like, the app just stopped recording, and the screen just froze. That was so weird. Oh my god, I guess my framework laptop isn't the only thing that gets this kind of issue. My Apple iPhone does kind of too. But at least I didn't lose the entire recording like I would have with a full system hanging on the laptop. Like here I was able to just close the phone, reopen it, and then now the app works and it let me resume. So, yeah, sorry for the abrupt audio cut there, but this is still better. That Wi-Fi card is pissing me out. Anyway, what was I even talking about? So what you should do is you can start with an idea or even just evidence. Just start with whatever you're thinking and then go through it logically and think about it and, like do your little commentary or whatever and analysis. But if you find something interesting, then you can make conclusions based on that and not just ignore it. People, I swear, and for example, like this is very, very noticeable. Like, for example, a lawyer defending his or her defendant or like whatever, like their client is the word. Like they will just ignore the opposite side's evidence because that's their job, and this lawyer's job is only to portray the positive elements of their own client, not to reach the truth like it should be. Like, what the hell? Ugh. I get that the legal system relies on that, but I'm not talking about the legal system here. I'm talking about ordinary, everyday communication. We are not lawyers. Our goal is not to prove a point. No one is, like, I guess there could be situations, but in general, you are not going to suffer from changing your mind. Like, just because your initial idea was not supported by the ideas that you later came up with, that doesn't like make you screwed. You can just change that idea based on your future ideas and go in a different direction, and that's just gonna, like, by definition, like in this hypothetical scenario, that's gonna be better. Like, people are so wrong in communication for this, like, in my opinion. I feel like this is the one thing that I have going for me, that I will critique myself and I will be honest. And I just think that's so lacking in our modern world. Like, when I listen to English discussions, I'm literally dying and I'm so like sad and just, because people will say the most like made up garbage things and then try and yap for many minutes to just say some bullshit to support it. Like, what? Just don't even talk then. Like, the class discussions are not even graded. Like, you can literally just say, I don't know, and like, yeah, you might be judged, but like, if you don't know, then what are you even doing? You should really know. Like, why are you not prepared for class, bro? I can sort of get it, like, if you're doing more important things, because school is useless. No, not useless, okay. No, school is very important for brain dead people, like all society is. Maybe it's just me. I'm stroking my ego here, but, like, I feel that I am on a higher level of thinking, and I see past the stupidities of school into real, like, say things and change things and just be honest and transparent and just collectively work with communication to get ideas across and improve upon them, which is really like the entire kind of thing that most of us do during life, like, you just keep improving, like, that's how humans have gotten to this amazing modern world we love to talk about. We made like stone tools a long time ago, and then we refined them and made more complicated ones, and like harnessed animal labor or whatever, and like just kept improving and coming up with new things, and until these ideas developed into something like an iPhone and internet. And the internet is what is allowing me to make these videos right now, which is, sick. Like, if I lived like 10,000 years ago, yeah, there wouldn't be like as much like pollution and, people spreading the stupid things that they have decided and are now refusing to give up, even though they've now realized that the things are wrong, but they don't want others to realize that they realize that they're wrong. Like, this whole modern world with all its imperfections is like, if I make these videos and help people with that is going to be so amazing and so much nicer than, for example, like plowing a farm all day. That would have its own beauties, but this is going to be a lot more magical when I don't have to do all that all day just to stay alive and, get food for myself. If I can make this the contribution to society of my life, that will be amazing. Now I think I'm probably ready to sleep. Goodbye.